The only two, I think, other pieces, pardon me, and of course, bring on more questions if you've got them. That's not, if you've got more questions, ask more questions. The two other things I'd say are, I'm not a legal expert, and there are definitely legal issues to consider with your stream, including business formation, like at what point does it make sense to file a certain type of business entity that's not a sole proprietorship, intellectual property concerns, contract concerns, all those kinds of things, right? You should have an attorney as well. That's another business expense, by the way, hiring an attorney. But you should definitely, as you grow, look at hiring an attorney to help you review things, because, and not full-time, right? Like pay them on a basis, but just because that's an area where things can go pretty wrong. And the last piece, which I've talked a bit about before, is if you are planning on running this as a business, try and get in the mentality of running it as a business. Try and get in the mentality of, am I spending to earn? Am I planning for the long term and growth and things like that? As opposed to just sort of letting the day by day go by without doing planning. You really want to try and plan for the future. Shuli says, is it advisable to have your business bank account with the same bank? Do you mean as your personal bank account? Because for me, I do have... So banks tend to have personal and bank account and business bank accounts that are separate things. They're similar, right? They operate similarly, but they are different things. Business and personal bank accounts. I have my business and my personal bank account at the same bank because it's very convenient for me. What I would say, and I like that convenience, right? And because I bank with the bank that I do personally, because I think they do a good job. If you find a good business bank account at a bank that isn't yours, and this goes back to that CEO mindset, it's up to you to weigh, is the loss of convenience of not having your things in the same place worth the benefit that you get from that other business bank account? If you want to look at business bank accounts, NerdWallet, the site, nerdwallet.com, tends to have very, very good reviews of different bank accounts, credit cards, that kind of thing. Yep. Lev is absolutely correct. That's a good point. There's one that I forgot to mention again. Conferences, conventions, that kind of thing. If you're running a business and you're going to those to learn about your industry, to meet other streamers, to network to network with other streamers, to meet your fans even, right? The people who pay you, that's a business expense. And that's one of the coolest things for me of running a Twitch-oriented financial planning firm, is that the things that I would do for fun anyways, like go to TwitchCon, are now a business expense because I'm also doing business there. You don't want to abuse that, but certainly a major benefit of turning a passion into a business like I have. I really like financial planning and personal finance. I really like Twitch and watching streamers. You can get some interesting benefits from that as well. You going to TwitchCon, if your streaming is a business and you're planning on growing it like a business, should count as a business expense. There are rules around, again, and talk to a CPA on this, there are rules around exactly how you deduct it. So, like, I don't think you can deduct 100% of meals and entertainment, for instance. But yes, those should count as business expenses, and you should document them as such. And then when you're talking with your accountant, explain them to that person, because they might not understand. They'll understand a business conference. They might not understand what TwitchCon is and why that makes it a business conference for you. Yeah. Sorry, I've been talking a lot. Yeah, exactly, Lev. Oh, of course, t-shirt later. Yeah, Lev makes a good point. It does. TwitchCon adds up. I am lucky enough that I live about 2 hours away from it, so I'm going to just be driving there and such, but it does count that way. Oop, pardon me. Phone started buzzing. So, yeah. I think that brings me to the end of what I'd had prepared to cover. But I'm still definitely willing to sit here and take questions. Like I said, this is something that I do for work, is helping people with financial planning broadly, but also just this kind of stuff. But it's also something I do for fun. I answer this kind of thing for my friends just as entertainment because I find it really interesting, and I think that it's something that people need help with, and they're just don't ever learn in school kind of thing. If you're going to let you update your list, you make... Oh, gotcha. Yep, I'll be there. Oh, and the last advertisement piece for me. Hold on. The last advertisement piece for me is... like I said, I write a blog every single week on topics like this. If you go to that link, you can follow like Lunch Break and Resorty and Julie. You can sign up for my email list, and then you get emailed whenever I write a new article. Don't spam you shit. I just send you when I write a new article. What is the biggest mistake I think new business-ish streamers make? I think the two biggest ones are not getting their business set up properly in the first place, like just sort of doing things willy-nilly and not really paying attention to the basics and like the legal basics. And then the other piece of it would be not tracking things, not tracking their income and expenses, not doing the research that they need to do to know that there are different things that they need to handle as a business. There's the Small Business Association in the US, and I think their website is just sba.gov, sba.gov. Let's see. I'm 90% sure that's it. Yep, sba.gov. And they have thousands and thousands and thousands of articles that are all geared towards helping small business owners figure out what they need to do. They really want small business owners to succeed because it's a major economic driver in the US. So there's a government site with tons of good information on it. Would putting you down as a finance consultant be fair and accurate? Yeah, I like financial planner, but finance consultant's also fine. You're taking your fiance to TwitchCon. She's going to help you on a trip with organizing and taking that information. Can you write off her costs as well, or is that pushing it? I would say that's pushing it. If she regularly performed services for your business and was compensated for those services, then no. That would make perfect sense to do it. If she doesn't regularly perform services for your business and is not being compensated for it, I would definitely say that's a stretch at that point. It'd be cool, right? Of course. But I don't think that is reasonable if she's not in that kind of arrangement, or if she's not a part owner of the business. Setting up QuickBooks as we speak. So consider me on the praise chigs. Nice. Yes, Lev makes a very good point. I've been talking about the things you should do. This is not a discussion of what you should do. This is not a discussion of like the things you need to do to go full time. If you do plan on making this a career and going full time, first of all, email me because I've written a going full time guide that I haven't made pretty and finished and things like that and put up on my site, but I think you'd like it, and Lev's seen it. Yeah, I would say another mistake, one of the biggest mistakes if you're planning on doing it full time, is not having enough money saved up to actually pull it off. Praise chigs, praise chigs, praise chigs. Nice 16-bit panda. I hesitate to go here. Is she actually paid for those services? And even then, probably not, because it's not really business related, is it? So, like, my wife is a social media and email marketing manager for a company, and she has helped me a lot with my social media and email marketing stuff. But she, I don't write off going to dinner with my wife as a business expense because I'm not doing that for the business, right? I'm going out to dinner with my wife, and I'm doing that for us and for our relationship. The I probably could technically get away with that. It's also if we were talking about like social media and email marketing for my business, but it's up to you to be reasonable about it, right? It's definitely up to you to be reasonable about it. Everything is business. When are you expecting to publish the Going Full Time guide? It's written. So the answer is is whenever I get around to actually getting it looking nicer than literally just a long Word document. Because literally right now it's like a hardly formatted Word document. Lev's seen it. It's not so fancy. Lev, I added more parts on the convention piece like we talked about, and then also on insurance, which I'd forgotten to do. I do, like I said, send more questions my way, of course. I do heavily encourage you to sign up for my email list. A, because it'll make me feel better. Be like, yay, people are actually listening when I talk. So, there's that. But then also because I do write articles on this every single week. And on not just the tax and initial business setup piece, but a lot of other really relevant points. And I think it'll be beneficial. Shuli, Lunch, Resorty, you can come in right here and tell me I'm full of shit since you're already on the list. But if not, I think it'll be helpful. Please put tip button on the stream. No. No, sir. Streaming for me is a hobby. Streaming for me is a hobby, and it truly is a hobby, and I don't intend to turn a profit from streaming. So this is just something I'm doing because I think it's a good thing to do, and because I enjoy doing it. So don't compensate this for me. So do you guys have any other questions? There's also I put my email in there earlier, and if you go to my site, I haven't got my contact information on there. So if you've got questions that percolate up later because I just threw a shitload of information at you and you're trying to figure out what makes sense for you, shoot me an email. I'm on Twitter